Welcome everybody back to the After Dark Show. I'm Don Rogers. I'm happy to have my guest back again this week. You will all remember Jayme Jacobson, Angel Wings, from a couple of weeks ago. She was here telling us and explaining some really interesting things about energy and putting on some pretty cool videos of her actually working with energies in the environment that she was in. And tonight we're going to get into some really interesting topics as well. We're going to get into Ethereal Dragons and extrasensory perception, or ESP. So I'm going to bring her up on stage right now and thank her for coming back. Hi, Jayme. Thank you for coming back. And sorry, I'm tongue-tied tonight. I don't know why. But thank you for coming back, and we're going to have a wonderful conversation once I get my foot out of my mouth.
All right.
So, where I was going to start with this, and we were just talking about this a bit before the show, is it's my personal belief that even the term ESP has kind of gotten pigeonholed or like a misnomer into the woo-woo sense of like magic and that kind of stuff. Like, it really does not do what it is justice, because when you think of extrasensory perception, it's not just a magic trick that we're talking about, like that some guy in a fancy sequin suit does on stage. Extrasensory perception is actually everything that us as humans has lost touch with, and some of us actually have regained these abilities. I mean, like pyrokinesis, telekinesis. Of course, I'm drawing a blank. You would probably know them more than me, but like, do you get what I'm? Can you list some of them off actually? Because like, there's a whole lot of flares, and that's actually when people are talking about extrasensory perception. Those are the things that we don't have anymore, and I think that's what people misunderstand.
Oh, yeah. Well, a big one is hearing. Your hearing is far more advanced, and that connects with I can't remember the specific clear term though, but it's where you're picking up frequencies from your ears from higher dimensional. Well, it could be any being actually, like higher dimensional, lower dimensional, and you'll be able to like hear them speak to you, and that's completely different from voice to skull too. And it's different. It works with various frequencies that you're actually on, not interrupting ones per se, like the voice to skull and that other crazy stuff. And it gets complicated, and that's why discernment through it all is really difficult, but it's the best way to do it, because you can't rely on anyone's information anymore, because everyone gets told the wrong information.
Absolutely, and that's something I personally have been kicking around lately. Is like, I believe that we receive a stream of consciousness from a higher source, but there are also things and entities and whatever you want to have it along the way that can also put their own spin on things. And you actually have to, like you were saying, be able to discern when you are getting a true download or true information as compared to, something that's coming from like a density above us that's kind of malevolent, we'll say.
Oh yeah, yeah, definitely. And it's just like when one I've noticed when one spiritual gift is being used or worked on, there's certain things are turned off too. Because there for a while, my sense of smell wasn't working at all. And so a lot of it actually kind of coincides with your physical senses as well. So some people will actually have some of their stuff turned off to heighten their other spiritual gifts.
I think that's true too, and something Spinja and I have talked about. And I know Marvel, Disney bad, but there's something that actually gets pointed out in the movie Deadpool, another way that our gifts, I think, get reactivated is trauma. Like we get pushed to a certain extent and we just start to activate because I'll explain what I mean. In the movie Deadpool, they basically torture him into a mutation, right? And once he mutates, he has all these cool abilities and stuff. I actually think that's kind of an in your face truth that that's how some of us get activated. You have to go through so much trauma and so much pain and so much hurt that you just no longer something alters in your perception.
Oh, most definitely. Yeah. I see that's what a lot don't realize. I went through extreme trauma when I first started being turned on, and I honestly think that's why I was turned on, was to start clearing and healing all that and figuring out what's going on with me. And there were times where these plasma beings I work with were actually supporting my physical vessel because of my energetic self being compromised multiple different times, unalived so many times. I mean, some your like some of your aspects can actually be killed off or unalived, or I'm not exactly sure exactly what that means, but and that's when you go with like a rebirth process of rebirthing your energy back to you. I mean, it's just it's a lot. You go through extensive stuff, and that's why I'm so sensitive and and feel all the energy. Basically, I'm an etherical empath, so I sense all energy physically.
And what would you say that was really the activating thing that started all of this? Like, and that's why I went into this talking about extrasensory perception because we're going to get into the dragons, but you've also had several other of your abilities unlocked. Do you remember what the catalyst was or what your paradigm shift was when all of this stuff started activating? We talked last time about when you saw it, but when did it actually start occurring within you, I guess?
I want to be. I want to say it was since I was a kid, but because I mean, even as a kid, people aren't realizing that you're constantly put through trauma just to get your gifts shut down. I mean, they even when you're born, some people have gifts that are noticeable, and they do everything to try to shut you down. I've been through multiple accidents. I've been through multiple things. Uh a lot trying, and people don't see that as, being trying to unalive you, but I do. I mean, well, out of nowhere when you're driving perfectly fine and suddenly you're off the road and in a ditch. I mean, there's something there going on. And it seems to be a an actual like connections with other people too. I've noticed I've connected with a few that had the same thing happen, like the same accident, the same similar symptoms, and well, and the odd part about that too is when I have a hard time getting of course I was only 18, but they supposedly did a CAT scan of me and told me I was perfectly fine after severely smashing my head, convulsing into a partial coma, and snapping myself out of it. I mean, that does something to you, and to have them say absolutely thing was perfectly fine, it's hard to believe, And it's almost like you're not allowed to see your X-rays. You're not, well, at least not me. I'm hardly allowed to see any of my things. It's weird. And they'll say I'm fine, and I'm like, how is that possible? But then at the same time, well, maybe I was also healed out of nowhere really fast as well.
It's interesting that you say that because that's a conversation we've had around here as well. As anybody that's listened to me talk, I've had 6 confirmable NDEs, but it's probably closer to 13. But aside from that, I've exactly what you're talking about. I have at least one major traumatic injury per year. Everybody knows last year I had two. Right near the end of the year, I had a cardiac incident and then I had to have my gallbladder removed. But once a year, something terribly physically traumatic will happen to me. The year before that, one of my dogs bit me, right? Like it's just the most random thing. And once a year, I get an injury, right? And I don't know. I'm going to kind of side squirrel here. Stephen from BG Cast was talking about medical hexing, and I don't know if this relates to that, but my family used to always tell me I was accident prone. And I grew up believing that I was accident prone. So I don't know if it's some type of trauma program or something I've programmed into myself because I think I'm accident prone.
Yeah.
What's your take on that?
Well, I, I had that same thing though. I was pretty accident prone myself. It's like we were always special, like always had something watching over us. We always had that extra protection from unseen forces, and I really feel it's because we're in multiple realms sometimes and we don't realize it. I think some of us activate on such a high level that we need that protection. And that's what a lot of people don't understand too, is when they get mixed up in that the SSP stuff, you don't realize you're being used. You're like a guardian of different realms, even. Some people are completely different and have those experiences because they're actually a part of it. That's what they do. It's like it's like I've learned as like a soul fracture fragment. Some of us have more than one or two, almost like we're healing and retrieving soul fragments from certain beings that we connect to. And,
I
and
Oh, good.
and that takes a lot of energy, that takes a lot of help, that takes a lot of and I think that's why we work with dragons, because I connect with your dragon, I connect with a lot of other people's. I mean, it's probably because we are part of, we can connect to that realm itself.
And you touched on something there that I find absolutely fascinating is the idea of multidimensional consciousness, like fractals or what was the other word you like parts of your consciousness throughout other realities. And I don't know if I asked you this last time, but I'd love to hear your answer on this is do you think that we receive information or even help from the other versions of our consciousness in other existences or timelines? You know what I mean? Like, yeah.
Yeah, most definitely. I've even had someone work on me, which I had to rework it myself and fix it because it wasn't right what they were doing. And that's another thing, is you never know who you're seriously connected to, if they're legit or not. I mean, my guides are way stricter after that happened. I even had an incident which taught me all this heavy discernment, where I was manipulated and someone kept giving me these upgrades and someone kept doing this for me and kept doing this for me, and it turned out that they were compromised the whole time and being controlled by an archon. Yeah, they were being controlled like a parasite of the mind. And not even that, there's actual black angels that are like black goo controlled by AI. It's like a completely different concept, and that's why I won't have nothing to do with AI as far as I can. I will not, because
No.
I've
I
personally dealt with it.
yeah. I've actually offered to make people intros for their shows and stuff because they're like, "Oh, I'm just going to use AI." I'm like, "I will just stop that. I'll do it." I'm like, "Don't."
Yeah,
Like,
don't anything infiltrated with AI is bad. Our phones are bad. I mean, the AI is, and honestly, I'm just getting to the point where I want to do all this healing online. But if you think about it, I've been doing some, real research into it. When I go to the spring, my phone is completely shut down. There's absolutely no signal there. It's an hour away from any big city, big town. It's way out in the middle of nowhere. I feel amazing. I feel great. I don't sense this energy like I do when I'm on the phone, and I really feel it's rigged. I feel like they did something to the internet that enhances everyone's energy too and makes you feel it more. Because when I'm not on this phone, I don't sense those connections as strong. I still do, but it's different. I know it's hard to explain, but well, if you think about it this way, put it in this perspective. If you have millions of people on their phone and then have everyone jacked and everyone awake and everyone on that phone, just think of the energy construct that's on there. Think of all the energy that's going through this internet at one time. And you're basically bombarded with all that energy constantly. How are you healing yourself at all? And that's why I do this frequency tune up gig where I line all this frequency stuff up that does certain things and just play it all at once while I'm doing stuff in the background to clear it all out, but then I'm doing it again after I'm on the internet. So how well are people actually able to heal even, especially half these people now doing this fake Reiki, paying outrageous money for it? And what's it doing? It's doing nothing.
Um, that actually just made me think of something. Uh, do you think that the entire internet could possibly just be a tool to actually take energy away from the collective consciousness? Because when you were describing the way it's all this connected to this and this, but that's actually what we're supposed to be doing on a, well, an ESP level. We're actually supposed to be able to have those connections with one another. We're supposed to be able to do this without computers, without machines, without all this crap, right? I
All right.
think the internet was brought in so we don't figure these things out and figure out how to do them for ourselves. Oh, I have to use a phone just like I have to use a lighter. Well, you used to be able to have so it said that people at one point had pyrokinesis or telekinesis, right? You didn't need a phone, you didn't need a lighter,
Right.
right? I think that's, keep us distracted, complacent, dumb, lazy, and you'll never figure these things out.
Right. Well,
That's the entire game.
exactly. And if you think about it this way, how my gifts work and how it works with with dragons and energy, I'm literally connected. We're literally connected to everybody. And that's what I don't realize too is you're going to sit there and do black magic on someone. Everyone actually in the entire room will feel it. You're actually damaging people and hurting them. I mean, it's on a bigger scale than you think. I mean, you're like seriously actually hurting physical people. And I don't think people realize that. When you're sensing energies and you're clearing negative energy, you could be removing anything from entities to parasites. It's not just one thing. They just, you just realize it's a negative energy. But what if someone's wired backwards? There's a few people I've ran into that actually have a reversed frequency. They're literally taking your positive and making it negative, and we're all trying to be positive. And so when you that's a whole new concept too in itself. That's an even more dangerous thing going on too.
Yeah. Um, my friend in Ontario who goes by the name of Cheech wants to ask you, is there a way of going forward into timelines and healing yourself physically? And this is my friend who is in line for a double lung transplant. He doesn't ask these questions to be a smartass. When he is asking for ethereal advice, it is for real healing.
Yeah. Well, and yeah, and I have to say it's not medical advice, it's spiritual advice. But you can. I have physically I got scratched by my cat. I know it just seems small, but it was literally healed the next day. I mean, there's some things you can heal physically with plasma energy more effectively than a lot of things. Because I remember taking I was holding, what was it, like moldavite, quartz, and labradite, two healing, one healing element that forces the energy to do something, and put in new stuff and amplified it with a quartz crystal. I actually healed someone's sprained ankle completely to the point where they could totally walk fine the next day, and by the end of the day, there was nothing wrong with them.
So
So, I mean, the possibilities really are endless. It's just a matter of applying it and how to learn it.
that's a conversation you and I can continue in private about maybe getting him some things for his house that might help him along.
Yeah.
We'll continue that part later. Um, Jason H says Facebook is an energy weapon. Yeah, it is. I'm even streaming on it, and I'll say it. Yeah, it's an energy weapon.
Yeah, I get shots all day. I'll have people when I go live try to unalive me all the time and hit me with black magic, and I play a frequency in the background to negate it, and so it don't happen. But I mean, there's dangerous things that happen. They don't realize that stuff is real stuff. You can seriously actually kill people doing that. It's messed up how dangerous the internet actually is.
Yeah, and Tennessee, Kentucky Bigfoot actually has a very good point. I will agree with this. Internet is a two-sided blade, also opening up consciousness, but leading people away from inner self. He's absolutely right. Without the internet, I wouldn't understand probably 60% of what I do now. So very, very valid. Thank you.
Yep. Well, and that's why I teach us. I try to teach self defense on my channel as well. Is how to call your energy back. Multiple ways of calling your energy back. Because what most people don't realize too is that your energy is DNA based. You unlock things through your DNA that connects your etherical form to your physical body. No one can contain your energy if you call it back. You call it back, it's coming right back. And honestly, that's how people end up more negative than positive, is taking someone else's energy that don't belong to them. It actually has a reverse, a really bad side effect. And that's where people get addicted to someone else's higher frequency energy, but they don't realize, because they don't feel it, it's damaging them. It's destroying their physical vessel to where they need it constantly, and that's why people become vampiric. It's like an addictive drug. And so that's why your cleansing periods and healing and clearing, it's difficult. I mean, because you have entities that want to hang on to that and latch to you and want. And so it's sometimes it's a lot harder to get rid of them than people think.
What do you do when that particular energy drainer is a family member?
I limit. I have that problem actually with someone, and I limit my visits to very minimal. And if I have to do something, you gotta wake up and realize when they're you when you're spending too much time with someone. And because, well, for example, I'm not afraid to put my mom out there, but she will take me to the store, which I don't mind, but then she'll take forever. She will take an hour or two, and by the time I'm done, I'm drained dry. That's what they do. I mean, so when you got to be more conscious of these things. With suddenly you feel tired around someone, or someone purposely messing with you, and then you just cut the cord and call the energy back. And what most people don't understand is cutting the cord from people doesn't hurt them or you. It's removing a negative connection that shouldn't be there. You're still connected to that person. You don't need cords to be connected to people. Cords connecting to people is actually not very healthy unless you're sustaining, helping each other.
That actually is something I would love to talk about. How do you cut cords? And you and I were just talking about this. I just want to do this for the audience. How do you cut cords, and what should your clearing process be in your own home?
Well, there's a lot of ways. My dragons help me cut, but they connect to Archangel Michael. Archangel Michael, well, with the blue sword, you ask his help and he'll do that. But if you want a more effective, you can you can even go through and write down on paper uh, exactly what you want and then burn it, and it literally releases connections that way too.
Hmm.
Cuz well, because yeah, you can even use a selenite wand because that's like an energy blade, and you can visualize it cutting all the cords along all your body and just removing all of them, and that works too. And sometimes you can even energetically feel the cords being cut. It's like after you do it, all your energy will start coming back, and then you have to
You have
ground
to
very
ground
well
very
because
well.
I've noticed when your energy comes back, sometimes it's a lot because so many people are siphoning you, and so you got to ground yourself because it's a lot, and people mistake that for being attacked too. Is your own energy coming back? Because I'll have like a solid like beam coming through my crowd, and I'm like, is that a ship above my house? Sometimes it is, sometimes it's not. So, just discernment, really.
Eh,
Eh.
that- yeah. Uh, so, which of your clairs would you say are noticeably active now that you've started to expand into this?
A little bit of all of them. I noticed my third eye is they're into showing me like shadows, and I try to figure them out, and they're getting better at it. But then I got to remember I'm also working with young spirits that are still figuring out how to do that. So that's where it gets complicated for me because they're learning with me while I'm learning.
See, and the reason I ask and the reason I started off like this is because we know there's people who can legitimately communicate with spirits, and we know
Mm-hmm.
there's people that can legitimately communicate with past pets. My personal thinking on what you're experiencing, and I may be right, I may be wrong, this is why I'm putting it out there, is you have a connection to the energies of dragons who are no longer in physical form. Is that a fair explanation of what is going on?
Yeah, they're pure straight plasma. So
Okay.
they're higher vibrational beings. They're higher in frequency.
Yeah. And before people start rolling their eyes, I do not own the rights to this video. I All credit goes to the person on the video, and I left his name on there, so please go like and subscribe his channel. This just was very valuable to what we're going to be talking about. I just thought this kind of summed it up perfectly.
Actually, how they cover up the real origins of humanity and our history. This original painting was found during a renovation of a cathedral in Naples. You can see the dragon. This is our true history. Don't you find it odd that the Chinese calendar has all real creatures except for one fictional creature, the dragon? It's also odd that dragons were a massive part of our ancient history. There are endless examples of these creatures found in ancient texts, an abundance of paintings found in caves, literal carvings into rock, and so much more. You see, they have lied about the real origins of humanity and our true history. They have done this to keep us dumb and ignorant to the truth of this realm. We have been indoctrinated since birth to believe a false version of reality. But the truth and the universal wisdom is found within each and every one of us. You need only to look within yourself to find the real truth of who we are and what our history is. Peace and love.
So I think that's a pretty good precursor to the discussion about dragons because he absolutely summed it up way better than I ever could. And like I said, full credit. Please go like and subscribe to his page. Um, So, with that being said, when did you start to first notice your connection to the energetic forms of dragons?
Well, pretty much in 2020, 2021, about when I started really being energetically aware of more than just normal empath stuff. You know, like I could feel something working on me. I could like feel the actual orb in my leg, like indicating there's something stuck, and I would put my hand there to help free it and like work it. And so I was literally energetically already working with a being I didn't quite understand. It was helping release negative energy and working on my physical vessel and actually healing me.
So,
And
no, go ahead.
well, and so I was, I've never felt that before. A part of me was slightly freaking out, but I'm like, well, it doesn't hurt, so they're not hurting me. That's why I realized they were healing me, and my circulation was improving. My legs weren't sore anymore, and I didn't know what was really going on at first. For me, it was all letting go of perspectives that you're stuck with and trying to understand it different. Because you can't, when something like that is going on, you can't just say, oh, it's this, oh, it's that. I mean, you could, but then it's ignoring the process. Because it's definitely something totally new no one's ever talked about. And so I just went with it and learned as I went, looked things up online. They directed me to information. I was led to certain places, like learned about the Seraphim. I mean, it was a real hard website to find, too. It's not like it was information for everybody.
Yeah.
And then I didn't even realize that some people considered Seraphim dragons. They're solar dragons.
Can you explain that a little further?
Well, I've learned that the seraphims have more than one form. The seraphims connect with the archangels. The archangels, it's almost like they're the same but not. Like they're similar but not.
That makes sense.
So it's almost like they actually have two different things. The seraphim are like are shapeshifters, and for me, it feels like they're phoenixes, like the feathered dragon, basically a phoenix. So the seraphim seems more like a phoenix, and the archangels, the seraphim angels, are literally that's what they are. They're like a phoenix.
Yeah. Where'd that go? Buck Elf has joined the chat and said a seraphim. Oh, he's killing me with all these texts here. There we go. I hit the wrong one. There we go. Ah, go. A seraphim. What the heck? Stop it. There we go. A seraphim is a Proto Greek word for serpent.
Mm-hmm.
But, wow, this thing is just killing me. Can you tell I got a new system? A seraphim could read a flying
Well,
serpent.
and I'm
But also,
starting to realize that I think it's all on perspectives, though. I think it's how people learn and understand it, because the knowledge isn't limited, I'm noticing, to one term, though. The, the more your own consciousness expands, the more you realize a lot of this information, though, is old. And when you put the concept of energy constantly changing and transforming, constantly evolving, I'm pretty sure they're not exactly the same still all the time. I'm pretty sure they're higher beings by now, even stronger than we thought they were before. I mean, they're constantly going through an evolutionary process. So, you can put a label on it just to grasp a concept, but it's not going to limit to what it really is.
I think that's true too. And since we're just kind of throwing it all out there, I don't know if I told you this or not, but my personal opinion is, well, my personal thought on the matter is why dragons aren't more prevalent in history is because they were so powerful and such an amazing creature that they had to be kind of scrubbed from history, which, we know they would never do something like that. And the only problem was there was some things that you couldn't hide. And I honestly think that's a lot of what dinosaurs are, and people can call me crazy, but, I'm just going to say Terra frickin' dactyl. That's not a
Yeah,
dinosaur. That's a dragon, folks. Right?
exactly.
I'm not being that guy, but like we know those in control or who think they are like to hide history from us, and those of us who would like to learn about history, it is much harder. Like you were saying, people start digging up dragon bones. You have to make up a story
Right?
because you said dragons don't exist. Well, okay, let's call it a different reptile. It's a dinosaur. No,
Well,
it
that actually connects to a dream that the dragons show me sometimes is when there's lower versions of themselves around, they'll actually show me dinosaurs in my dream to connect it. That's how they try to tell me there's a lower form in which in their version a dinosaur is a draconian.
yeah. Uh, Tennessee, Kentucky, Bigfoot. I agree. T Rex, small arms were wings, and maybe a dragon also. Yeah, and Spinja has even commented on this. I think there are missing bones from the museums. I think that basically the dinosaurs have been mislabeled because they're actually dragons.
Right? And then you sit there and wonder, nobody ever questions anything. And it's like, where did they get this information from? Where do people get this information? Because even my mom will talk about Templars out of books. She used to read, and I'm just like, that baffled me. I'm like, really? You can look that up in a library? And so it makes you wonder how far this cover up actually goes.
Oh yeah, they have on multiple occasions changed history, and that's a completely different show. But like, so you were telling me before. Sorry, I just had to get the dinosaur thing out because it drives me crazy. I live in Alberta, and we're 40 minutes from Drumheller, which is the dinosaur capital of the world, right?
Yeah.
And you look at some of the creatures that they have on display, and it's like, it's a fucking dragon.
Yep.
But yeah, I digress. Anyway, uh, when did you start to notice, like you were saying, that they were offering you healing? You were telling me the other day that sometimes they'll actually project thought into
Yeah.
your mind. Can you explain that as well?
Well, that's how they would communicate through my. That's when you realize you're more telepathic than you think, because they'll reach through and show me in my dreams, which it gets hard to read too, because they're young spirits. And that's another thing, is I didn't realize that until recently too. The more I talk about them, someone mentioned that they're youngsters, but then that makes sense why it's harder to communicate what the heck is going on. But then I will have clarification with an older dragon that'll clarify, and an angelic that will come by with and help sorts. And my thing was, I'm like, okay, so if these are dragons, let me take pictures. And then I started getting them on pictures, and I'm like, well, I'm sure as hell ain't seeing crap then, because I'm getting pictures of them. I'm pretty sure they exist then.
Well, and I'm glad you brought that up because you actually brought some stuff with you again. And if we have to play it a couple of times so you can fully explain it, we will. But I'm just gonna pop the first one on here. It'll probably show up in between us here again. I don't know. I'm just playing with a new toy tonight. What was that one that we were looking at there?
Well, that was one of the dragons. They're in orbs. That's orbs, and I put that recently together too. But yeah, I was trying to figure out what those orbs were all the time. Some of them are dragons and angelics. Their plasma beings are seen as orbs because of the density of 3D. It pushes them into an orb. So in my space with my consciousness expansion, that's why they're working with me to get it cleaned up and cleared up and raise the frequency in my house. And there's an actual ship above my house once in a while closer too, so they can expand bigger and be in a bigger form, but they can project themselves, and and they'll show themselves as dragon, what they are, the orbs in my house. It's because my mind is expanded enough to see it and understand it.
And I've actually, oh, I forgot to take Puck's comment off of there. You've actually showed me videos of them like manipulating physical objects. So this is why a lot of people are like, you guys are silly. This is, no, you guys don't understand what's going on outside of your own energy because you're stuck in a material science world and you think everything is physical and it's not, right? That's a really hard conversation to have with a lot of people. So there's going to be people that watch this and it's like, okay, but no, it is real. I've seen in her videos, I've seen her ask them to do things and I've seen them do it. So that's why I know this is actually real. I'm going to throw up your next video. It's 42 seconds. So now, what was that one? I noticed it wasn't really going in any direction, particularly.
Well, that's because the dragons were eating it. You'll see, and what I mean by that is I took separate pictures of it too. You'll see two orbs right next to a red one. So literally, they're dragons consuming and pulling a drone into a different realm or something. They're removing drones from our area that don't belong here.
So you had one more video, and then I clipped a bunch of your pictures together. And when we get to your pictures, I think people are really going to see what you're talking about. So we'll do this. I noticed that, like, for people that don't know, that's not a typical plane flash. Like, planes have a certain pattern when they flash, and that's not it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the drones were letting me know or the dragons were letting me know what they were doing. They're clearing the area from like AI drones.
There you go. Puck Elf says, shine a laser at it and see if you get arrested. He also said, yep, all this quantum realm of materials and consciousness has got me convinced there's a crossover from people stolen by Faye. Yeah, Faye UFO objections, just different words used. Yeah, I totally agree, Puck.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to throw up the video I clipped together of all your stuff, and I'm going to unmute. If you want, you can unmute the mic so you can actually talk through it.
Okay.
Oh, it didn't even mute us this time. This is the one that
Oh,
got
see,
muted.
that's the picture of part of that video that I took.
Yeah.
No, that's a picture of a drone. Drone.
Now, do you figure these are private drones, or yeah?
Well, and that one right there is the rainbow, but literally, if you expand it, literally right where
Oh,
beside the rainbow was a drone.
I noticed that one's got 3 dots on it.
Yeah, that's the ship.
That one was crazy when I saw it.
Those are multiple. Those are tons of dragons covering a ship.
Like in those 2 there.
Yeah. So when people look up in the sky and look at all that, some of those are dragons. Those are plasma beings. Not all those are stars, and not all those are satellites. And stars are actual plasma beings. I really don't think we actually see stars down here. They're like portals. See? I got a close up of one once. Clearly, there's something in there.
Yeah, you can see the nucleus.
And that one's like
Yeah,
coming through the portal.
yeah. Oh, you can see the.
No, there you go. There's the white is actually the dragon. It's trying to show me. See, you can see the whole white. It's like look. See, he made himself look like a dinosaur. That's what he was
Yeah,
trying to tell me. He was mimicking what was there to try to tell me what was there, a lower level entity.
yeah. So, when did they actually start to interact with your reality physically?
Oh, well, they've been doing it for quite a while now, and I've been just starting to figure it out because at first it was chaos, just sorting all my stuff out, and that's what all the energy work is for. That's what a lot of people don't understand. You have to balance yourself out in order to understand and discern better what's coming at you and what's around you. If you're not doing energy work and clearing all the time, you ain't gonna understand what's good or bad because it's a mix match. You'll have good and bad, and sometimes you'd work with good and bad beings as well. Because good and bad really is a bad way to describe it. Because people will say, it's black and white. No, it's more neutral. It's how you perceive that being to be. If it's doing something that's not, well, then that's negative. But to them, they don't understand because we're human. That's a lot they don't understand too. Is the human conditioning system really has you thinking certain things are evil when it's just an entity or a being that doesn't know any better.
I think that makes sense, and that's something as well that I think we have to watch out for, because when you're open to streams of information, that's what I was kind of alluding to earlier, is sometimes you can get things like, I've always explained it as MK Ultra, but I had something try to do something really bad to me when I was 14. My mom was the school bus driver, and I was sitting in the back of the bus, and we were about 20 minutes from home, and all of a sudden I heard this voice in my head: "You should kill yourself.
Well,
You should kill yourself." And it kept going and going and going. I actually went home, took my dad's 22 off of the wall, loaded it with a hollow point, and then the neighbor girl, who was my best friend's little sister, came to borrow a video game, and I snapped out of it. I don't know if that was MK Ultra. I don't know if it was a type of possession, but something almost made me unalive myself.
Oh, yeah. See, I have that too with random entities that show up, or attachments, or even people from the audience, not necessarily this one, but people from the audience too will project, and their attachments will try to attach to you as well, or well, because I'll have a negative thought and I'll start sitting there going, well, that doesn't sound like me at all. And through that clarification, you can actually remove that too. I mean, people really don't understand though how powerful your mind can be to just clear your own self just thinking about that too. Like if you notice you're doing something you don't normally do, stop, meditate a second on it, and be like, why am I doing this? And it'll go away. It's like as soon as they're noticed, you're putting a light on it, it removes that presence.
That makes sense. And that also like is a good way to deal with trauma as well. Is like, why is this bother? I keep bringing this up because it's something that's really been working in my life lately. Is I found out with one question you can literally deprogram what's been done to us. Right? Most of the people in the audience will understand that there's some type of programming that they've done to most of us that are in society right now. And one of the ways to deprogram it and one of the ways to deal with trauma, why? Why does that bother me? Why is this
Mm-hmm.
irritating? Why don't I like this? Why? 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 Just keep going back to why, and eventually you'll find out why.
Well, and then you'll clear it too, because sometimes you get stuck in a cycle purposely to bring that up to help you release it. It's a way of release and let it go too, so you don't get stuck in that cycle. You got to acknowledge and realize something. There's something to this, so you can free yourself from it too.
I think so too, and I've talked about this before, and I'd love to get your take. I really think, like, back in the day, you think about our great great grandparents could do almost anything for themselves. Like they grew their own food, they made their own clothes, they built their own houses, they, you know, fixed their own wagons. They did everything for themselves. If you look at the average teenager now, all he can do is operate a smartphone
Right?
and has almost no skills. They have literally stolen years of intelligence from us by giving us everything and making it so easy. And
Right?
that's what they've done with our Claires too. Who needs to
Mm-hmm.
be able to talk to Jayme through my head when I can just jump on my computer? Why would I even bother trying to develop that? Right?
Right? It's like they're pre-programming us to be stuck in an AI system to mind control us and to control our and to make it go even further, I think it's to control our gifts. It's to control what we can do. Because most people, until you free yourself from this matrix and realize some of you aren't even actually in the matrix, just a part of you is, to manipulate you and control an aspect of you, to control something they want from you. Because I saw something similar, I know it's a video, it was a movie, but this it was the symbiote spider. If you if you swallowed it, it always needs a host. So it's a parasitic, so it needs a host, but then that host could control and learn to work with it. Was actually connected to a massive larger spider that was like the size of a 3 football fields. It was a massive, powerful being, an entity. So if you take that into concept, if we have aspects of angelics or other beings, what are they really trying to do with us?
Oh, absolutely. And I love that you brought that up because this is literally a conversation Kyla and I have had again. It's funny because somebody asked, "What do we talk about when we're off the air?" Well, it's this shit, right? We never stop. Like you and I even have private conversations. We talk about this shit all the time because it's the only way we're going to figure something out. And one
Mm-hmm.
of the most prevalent things I think Kyla said to me is like, we are literally creator beings been put on autopilot, and we're creating the crap, this reality, this broken matrix that they want. Because
Yep.
none of us, well, most of us don't realize that we can do this stuff to create our own realities, right? We
Yep.
don't, I'm not saying quit your job and become a naturalist, because we all need to eat, but start paying attention to what you can do for yourself and what you don't need from the system, and you'll notice your abilities starting to shift, I
Oh
think, is
yeah,
the best.
that's a great way to cause a shift, is realizing you can do certain things. And when you're drawing and it comes out crap and you're sitting there like, that's not right, I know I can do better than that, I know there's something there that I can do, and it just clears a lot of stuff. I mean, and for example, I went to Alaska for 10 years. 10 years, that's a long time. And then I came back to a place that literally looks exactly the same. And I went, wait a minute. Doesn't anybody understand the concept of 10 years doing absolutely nothing? Do you guys realize that we haven't gone forward? We haven't developed anything new? Besides, the stuff was refurbished and shown as new, but it's not. It's still the same thing, just a new concept. They have new stuff they won't let us see, purposely to keep us confined to this specific way of seeing things.
You're exactly right. They've basically put blinders on us. Now, we have a couple of comments, and the one I've actually heard before, and I'm going to own it because it's funny as shit, because it's not wrong. They actually thought I was a dwarf when I was little. And it's from my friend Derek. Don Rogers, it just came to me. You're a regular height sized Peter Dinklage lookalike. Sir, I am only 5'5". I would not call that regular height. But no, that comparison has actually been made before. I do, from a certain angle, look like Peter Dinklage. Um,
In my connections, and this is hilarious, it's almost like the stronger beings, not all, but the stronger ones get put in smaller bodies.
Absolutely.
Because
And
whereas you resonate with that certain angelic, I resonate one that's supposedly supposed to be the tallest, and I'm 5 foot.
yeah. So this is another one from my friend in Ontario. Ask her about vibrational vampires. I guess what he's asking about is how we were talking about energy vampires. Can people drain your vibration as well?
Well, yeah, that's what they're doing. They do that to lower your frequency. They're lowering your frequency. So if you call your energy back or even play a frequency tone that calls your energy back, it's raising your vibrations, which would make it come back too. I mean, what a lot of vampiric people don't understand either is the fact that you have an attachment doing that. It's not you. You got to clear and remove all that, which is can be difficult, but it can be done. I mean, I think a lot just don't understand the concept of it, and on an energetic basis, that anything through frequency can be you can raise that level high enough to where it would just automatically clear it all too, because a lot of them can't handle being in that higher frequency. So it's a matter of keeping positive. And I know people laugh at it, but it's not. It's a thing. Keeping high vibrational means keeping positive, transmuting through that negativity, letting it go, because that's what I actually do. Is I'm transmuting. That's where the burping comes from, the pissing. You're expelling lower energies, you're getting rid of it.
I agree. I've caused quite a stir. Um, Puck Elf is very excited. Dwarf Brother, I identify as an elf and even make bows and arrows for about 30 years. That is very cool. When we get out to the farm, we will be making our own equipment as well. And one more thing. From Kentucky or Tennessee, Kentucky, Bigfoot, your light body is a giant. We all have a lot of growing to do if we ever plan on stepping into it. I like that. What are your thoughts on that?
Oh yes, most definitely. Most don't understand that their higher form is massively way bigger. The giants that used to be here are still here. They just minimized our vessels, but our etherical form is massive, and that's why I'm able to be such a channeled conduit, is because I'm literally connecting all my chakra points, all the portals to my higher self. And I mean, and really anybody can do it. It takes a lot of hard work. I ain't gonna lie. I went through hell and back literally probably multiple times. I've worked with Anubis. I've worked with beings most people wouldn't think you would work with to achieve what I have, but that's my ancestral line. And I mean, until you get past those fears of misperspective and misperception, and just go for it. I mean, you're highly protected. You can cleanse, clear, call in assistance. Trust it. Trust in your protection. Faith. It really is faith, and people don't get it. I mean, once I gave in, I turned my phone off. I said, I will leave it to you. I trust my assistance. I trust my help. I trust my protection. Instead of constantly playing a frequency thing to stay safe when I sleep, I let that go. And I'm fine. I just get up and after I wake up, have my coffee. I'll unlock my chakra system and clear a bunch of stuff and go about my day.
That's really cool. That kind of leads me to another question: is energy body, auric field, and Merkaba? What is really the difference, or can you explain that?
Well, I'll do my best because a lot of it is touch and go and just learning myself. But that's what a lot of people should do, is learning their self more within instead of so much outside forces. It's good to reach out for a little, advice, but that doesn't mean they're right or wrong. It's just you trying to discern through that information on a higher level. Because some people are different. A lot of people are different. I mean, so my frequency might be too high for some people to adjust to. Some people, it's a step. You got to work your way up. It's not going to just instantly boom, you're cleared. It takes a lot. I've been doing this for uh like 6 years, 7 years straight. And
Yeah,
and I'm still learning new stuff every time I do something new or learn something different or unlock something, new gift, a new something. Because somehow I'm able to externalize some of what I do internal to work on it outside of me, but it's actually within me.
that makes sense. And I think that's one of the things that I've been discovering as well is like trying to figure out how to work with my biological self to be in the reality I want. Like I should be in an enormous amount of pain for what I've done to myself over the years, but I've convinced my body to make deals with me like, "Hey, this won't hurt if you do
Mm-hmm.
this. Hey, this." And I don't know if that's what you're getting at, but I know I've learned to actually work with my energy body, my biological body, and the things I do to both of them, I guess.
Yeah. Well, and see, a lot of it is heavy chakra work. It's literally clearing, healing, and it's a big ordeal. I have a lot of help, and I have my see. I don't do it just by myself. Maybe that's where I don't explain it clearly. The dragons assist, like thousands of them are helping me, and angelics and some seraphim. I mean, I work with higher frequency beings to do this a little faster, but I mean, if people work with their guides more and trust their connections better, and if and through their discernment, I mean, Find people that can help. Do a Reiki session. Do a Reiki session to help your chakras unlock. I mean, I honestly am trying to start a class, a master ascension class, because I can do that. I can help people that truly want to free themselves, not just take my energy. So I do enough to where it would give them a start, but they got to keep doing it. Because I can unlock a chakra system a little at a time, but you're still, because for me, but it might be different too, because I have a more of a higher guardian role as well. So it might be different for other people too. But the basic is getting them unlocked and started. You're clearing out those dimensions of debris. You're clearing it out of bad entities. You're literally clearing out all the lower dimensions to be at a higher vibrational state. Because I used to have a bad back all the time, constantly, because of my bigger shoulders and stuff. I used to have a bad back until I did my chakra work and unlocked all my main 7, and I was realigned, and then I had no back problems at all. So literally doing the energy work, you could heal yourself physically too. You're even changing your own DNA. You can change your DNA, and that's what the solar flares are for. If you tune into the sun when it's flaring out and that high energy coming in, ground yourself very well, and you can just meditate on that high energy coming in, and it'll fix whatever you want to fix. Just visualize your original blueprint coming together. And that, because that's what it's, those heavy flares are actually for. It's removing all the black goo, it's removing negative entities. It's actually repairing and fixing your DNA.
Just trying to wrap my head around that. 1 second. Question: is there an average time to be able to do Reiki healing and teach? I actually, if you don't know the answer, I can holler down the hall and ask.
Well, I'm sure it varies. However, the person can hold the energy, I suppose. If you're like me, I have a good energetic unlock system. I can do it up to like 2 to 3 hours at a time, but then I would be out for like 3 to 4 days just recuperating all myself, because I take in and transmute everyone's stuff through me. And so I do it a lot different. And so then it would take me almost a week to recoup from clearing all that out of my own system. But that's why I don't go live very often too, is because I got so many people sucking my energy and being vampiric too. You get those people that hang out in the background and don't talk. You know what they're up to.
Yeah.
Not all the time, but a lot of the times that's what they're doing.
Yeah. Did that answer your question, Derek? Throw it up in the chat. If not, I can find out. Because I don't know if you meant that or teaching, but I'm not sure.
Oh yeah, because that was kind of a trick thing. I could go into it further, because I've noticed when I click on the Reiki sessions, there'll be like 30-minute Reiki sessions for something quick, or I see a lot of videos online
Yeah.
that do that. But that's the thing though with Reiki videos online, though, you got to summon your help and a guides for it to work. Otherwise, you're just watching a video and it's doing nothing.
That was actually timed perfectly, Jayme. That was my next question. How do people call their guides or their dragons?
Well, when I'm struggling with something, I just simply ask and they're there. I mean, some people could like light candles, even. I mean, or play a frequency tune. I just simply just ask, but I'm tuned in more. They might, maybe a good meditation, maybe a good 20 minutes just sitting there quiet so you can feel the presence, and it takes a while to open up and unlock that too. Like I said, the stronger your faith, the more you'll feel it, and the more you trust them, the more things will happen for you.
And just so people know at home, like when this first started happening, like what should they be watching for if one of them is trying to make contact with them or reach out to them? Like, what would you say you noticed first?
Oh, well, I realized, like, when I was brought to certain information, actually, when I was led to certain information that led me down rabbit holes. When you're led down rabbit holes, those are your guides, actually. When there's something guiding you all the time, and it's just a matter of realizing it, paying attention. A lot of it is paying attention to the little things, because they do it in hints. They do it in little increments. Like, occasionally I'll see a feather move, or I'll see something, or even people will see feathers when angels are around. I mean, there's a lot of signs, actually, just people aren't aware of. Even pennies, or like random money laying out you didn't see before. I mean, there's a lot of clues and little things, and it's a matter of how perspective, or yeah, how your perspective is, how intuitive you are with your guys.
That really resonates. Well, we've been going just over an hour now. Do you want to tell people like what you've got coming up? I was waiting for that. Hold on. This
Yeah.
literally just
Oh,
happened.
yeah, the dimes.
Yeah. So, do you want to tell everybody what you got coming up, where to get your Patreon? Because I know you have a lot of wonderful content available there. Oh, hello, Donald Ledesma. Um, just good to head out. But yeah, do you want to let everybody know where all your stuff is and where to get that?
Yeah. Well, you could put it in the description too, and I have it posted on my channel too, my Patreon, and yeah, check it out, because I've been adding a little bit here and there. And I don't want to add it all at once, because that's why you pay monthly. Because I'll release a few things at each tier, and I have up to 4 or 5 tiers now. I have basic information for $5, and well, even the free, I try to throw a bone or two out to people when I catch good information. And that's another thing, is my information is legit connected to intuitive information. If I see pictures, even though there's some may be AI generated, but there's a connection to it. There's like in the picture there'll be like some form of unlocking that it can actually unlock an ability or help clear something. It's just an intuitive thing. I'll click and hey, this is around me, or maybe someone needs this message, or and then I'll post it in there. So it's not like I specifically just put random stuff in there. It's like a real intuitive stuff. So otherwise I'd have a lot more in there, trust me. Because I'm constantly healing myself and dealing with a lot of. Because I work with Gaia too. I do healing with Gaia, healing the earth, raising the. I actually work directly through the sun with the Gaia too sometimes. So I do a lot of energetic work out of nowhere sometimes too. So and I feel every shift. And so when there's a big shift, like about 3 or 4 in the morning, is when it hits the hardest. That's when I sense the big shift, and then I gotta change what I'm doing and do a whole energetic cleanse and a whole bunch of other stuff.
That makes sense. And one more thing, if you could give people a basic cleansing and clearing tip before we go, what would it be?
No matter what, keep positive. There's that negative force out there that is always trying to pull you under the bus, and that's just it. Just keep to your authentic truth. Don't let people lead you astray. You keep your authenticity is the highest vibration of your own being that you can do. You master your own authenticity, there you go. I mean, it's fine to share other people's information or lead people to this person, but in the end, it's all helping each other get out of it. So it depends on, how truthful you are with yourself, too. That integrity within yourself, definitely. And I mean, that's a healing and clearing all on its own, just keeping to that. It helps remove anything trying to interfere with you. And
No, I love that, and that really resonates. You've already got people like Donald Ledesma in the chat is saying true statement. Like everybody's loving the information, and I want to thank you again, Jayme. Thank you so much for coming on. It's always wonderful talking to you. People have no idea how much you and I shoot the shit in the background, so it's always wonderful talking to you. And like I always say, thank you all for watching. And if you can go outside, please do, because it's a lot better than sitting in front of this screen. And oh no, why?
Or that.
Yeah, it doesn't want to end. Wow,
It says nope, we have more to go.
yeah, it like literally won't let me end the stream.